and welcome to Good Game Well Played for the week of Friday the 27th of May. My name is Hingers and this remains the ABC's only show about competitive video games and the nerds who play them. Today on the show we're talking about the recent racism controversy out of Dreamhack Austin, but first, let us look at the news. Sick. That little jingle is one of the few joys in my life. And we start with YouPorn news, as the embattled team is banned from yet another competition. Last week, Capcom announced a new rule that prohibits players from taking part in the Capcom Pro Tour if they are sponsored by adult content sponsors, such as a publisher of pornographic websites. That seems like a very specific rule that is aimed at a very specific team. And in CSGO news, we finally have a date for the CSGO World Championships. Tournament organisers eFrag have announced that 93 teams will take part in the qualifiers scheduled to take place from June through until August, and the finals will take place October 12 to 16. The prize pool for the tournament is set at $100,000, which is actually kind of low for a big CSGO tournament. It's kind of like how the Olympics, there's no money in that, you know? Just prestige, I guess, for the World Championship. And in US political news, the White House will be forced to respond to a petition about esports after it received 100,000 signatures. The petition is asking for esports competitors to receive athletic visas, which has been a problem before, with competitors being refused visas when attending tournaments in the United States. I want to know what Donald Trump's position on esports is. It's tremendous, it's huge. The Manila Major coming up is going to be the greatest competition. I can't do a Trump impression. I don't know. I've tried. All right, I'm done. It's my best. All right, that is it for the news. Let's talk about racism. At the start of this month, Dreamhack Austin, a satellite event to the massive Swedish digital festival, ran some very high-profile tournaments in esports like CSGO, Heroes, StarCraft, and Hearthstone. Now, the Hearthstone event was one of the best North American tournaments of the year, with the finals being played between Chacky and Terrence M, both locals. Chacky ended up defeating Terrence M 3-2 in the finals, but since the tournament, a lot of media attention has focused not on the results themselves, but on the incredibly toxic abuse that was leveled at Terrence M, who happens to be African American. Wes Fenlon at PC Gamer collated a few examples, which are rife with offensive stereotypes and racial epithets, stuff that Terrence M said his parents had to see when they tuned in to watch their son compete. In response, Blizzard CEO Mike Morhaime released a strongly worded statement which said in part, "We're extremely disappointed by the hateful, offensive language used by some of the online viewers during the Dreamhack Austin event the weekend before last. One of our company values is play nice, play fair. We feel there's no place for racism, sexism, harassment, or other discriminatory behavior in or outside of the gaming community." Morhaime goes on to say that Blizzard are working with players, streamers, event hosts, and companies like Twitch to find solutions and ways to curb this kind of behavior. But as of yet, no details or specifics have really emerged. Now, if you've spent any amount of time watching a high-profile Twitch stream, it will come as no surprise to you that Twitch chat is a mostly vile cesspit of the worst kinds of abuse. Racism, sexism, and homophobia are just the start of it, and despite the fact that the Hearthstone community as a whole is a pretty smart and thoughtful group of people, for some reason, the Hearthstone Twitch chats are some of the most intense and terrible out there. And I don't think it has anything in particular to do with Hearthstone the game itself. You'll find similar pockets of toxicity in some of the more brazen League of Legends and CSGO Twitch chats, and sure, sometimes it's tacitly approved of or even encouraged by the streamers themselves, but often it just comes down to the fact that these are the most popular games on Twitch. So attention-seeking losers go there to find an audience, and once they're there, the Twitch chat is just moving so fast they realize the only way to get noticed is to say the most extreme thing. And also there's no time to actually think of a funny joke to say, so they're just sort of shouting into the void to somehow prove to themselves they exist and matter, and then these small idiots devolve their commentary to the most base, childish, and hateful insults just to get attention. And to be clear, just because it's attention-seeking doesn't excuse this behavior at all. I don't really see a distinction between saying something racist because you're an actual racist and saying something racist in order to be funny, you know? Either way, you're being a fuckwit. We're not talking about friends making fun of each other or having a joke where they have built up trust or an understanding, you know? We're talking about anonymous trolls doing this completely unsolicited, in public, to and in front of strangers. Now, some people say it's just part of being in the public eye. That if you're going to play video games on Twitch, then people are going to make fun of you, and that's just part of it. But the reason hate speech is different from general mocking is because things like race, gender, and sexuality have been used by governments in the past to oppress people, to do things like imprison them, or stop people from voting, or take away their property, or literally make them slaves. It's not the same as making fun of someone for being bad at a video game or whatever, like no one's ever rounded up people with low APM and put them in camps. And that might seem like a glib example, but the reason I'm saying that is because I'm trying to emphasize just how different these kinds of insults are. But what do we do about it? There are some leads esports can take from traditional sports in this regard. For example, European football has a long and storied history of racial abuse by both fans and players, and UEFA has begun to combat this. For example, in 2014, Russian team CSKA Moscow was banned from having fans inside their stadium for 3 matches as punishment for racist behaviour by their fans. This stadium ban was in many ways more significant than the €200,000 fine, which, while a lot of money, is not really a significant sum for a club worth €130 million. And sure, football clubs have more influence over their fans than streamers generally can, but if streamers are encouraging this kind of behaviour, they need to take responsibility for it. Last year, when people from Forzen's chat, calling themselves the Forzen Army, or even more hilariously, Forzen Boys, were quote raiding female Twitch streamers to talk shit in their chats, Forzen said he didn't mind they were using his name when they were doing it. Which is tacit approval, At the very least, that has to stop. The silent majority of people who want esports to be an inclusive, fun, and cool place need to be vocal about shutting down hate speech in the community. And while it's great that Blizzard and Co. have said they are taking steps to combat this, and they should be applauded for it, streamers themselves have to take responsibility for this kind of behaviour and speak out against it too. Alright, that is it for today's show. Let us know in the comments what you think of the toxic nature of Twitch chat. Until next time, Hingers out! See ya! Goodbye! Every week I rock back and every week I don't have nowhere to go.